to witness. The fraught issue of land ownership in Cambodia is one legacy of the murderous Khmer Rouge regime. In part 2 of Don't Take My Land, we see how difficult it is for poor communities in rural areas and cities to safeguard their rights. Back in Day Krahom, there has been trouble. The residents are fighting for survival against a construction company that wants to evict them and turn their land into office blocks. But there's been a new development. A bulldozer has appeared on site, and late at night, some of the villagers attacked it and damaged it. They say the building company sent it in to intimidate them. The company says it was being taken for repairs and mistakenly entered the community. In any event, tensions are high. There are warrants out for the arrest of the village leaders. Scared residents would only talk if they were disguised.
The bulldozer wouldn't leave. That's why we threw stone at it and tried to set it alight. Still, it wouldn't leave. The driver began to deploy the bulldozer. We can't let them evict us from our homes. That's why we had to confront them.
While property developers and construction companies often have the support of the police and the courts in such cases, residents threatened with eviction, like those at Day Krahom, have to rely on local land activists to keep the pressure on the authorities. One local activist has been at the centre of many disputes and standoffs between the police and angry residents threatened with eviction. Standoffs that are happening all over the country.
The land issue right now is it's high. I mean, there's nationwide. There are problems all over in the provinces, in the rural areas, but also in with urban evictions. But most of the times, the ones who are the most vulnerable will be evicted and sometimes charged or even detained.
Back in the village of ex-Khmer Rouge soldiers, there's been a development. Nat and another farmer have gone to visit the local land commissioner to check on their legal situation. The commissioner was the one who originally divided the land to share amongst Nat and his fellow ex-Khmer Rouge soldiers. They hope he will have proof of their land ownership.
Every soldier was given a plot of land. Then we handed out these documents. The authorities agreed to these plans. We all signed up to them. It is all legally documented.
According to these documents, Nat and the other villagers do have a legitimate claim to a 30-metre by 600-metre parcel of land. The problem is that a local landowner called Teng Li seems to have taken 500 metres away from each farm.
This here is Teng Li's land. That's the parcel of land she was allocated. She already has lots of land. All this is her land. Now she grabs other people's land too. See, these are the plots of land here. This is the proof.
As the land commissioner, he has the right to distribute land, but not to enforce the land law. And that is what is worrying him about Nat's case. The local landowner, Teng Li, seems to have allies in the courts and the government who are supporting her land grab.
I don't understand how the courts can let one person take over the land. I followed the orders I was given. I gave Teng Li her parcel of land just like the others. She wasn't supposed to start grabbing other people's land. She's better give the land back to these villagers.
The meeting is going well for Nat. The commissioner seems to be on his side and believes that Teng Li might be using illegal means to persuade local officials to support her case.
Some of the land she took has now been returned to their rightful owners. But these villagers still don't have their land back. She rich so she can bribe corrupt officers. The courts seem to ignore what she has done. She's greedy, she won't give back the land. She's corrupt, all of it.
So, who is the mysterious Teng Li and what claim does she have on the land that Nat says is his? We tracked her down to her land holding, which she shares with her sons and grandchildren. And she has a powerful argument. She says that she owned the land before the Khmer Rouge arrived, and that's why she has taken it back.
It was agreed that I could have this land. It was my land before the Khmer Rouge came to power. The Khmer Rouge took it from me.
And the reason she says she was allowed to keep her land was because she played a role in stopping the Civil War.
I have persuaded the Khmer Rouge to lay down their guns. When the government asked me what I wanted in return, I decided to ask for my land back to give it to my children.
And as an example of the chaos that the confusion over property rights is causing, she argues that it is Nat and the other soldiers who are trying to grab her land.
It was the former soldiers who tried to grab my land. They didn't care about the law. They have used weapons to take the land from me. These plots of land belong to me, all 20 hectares. My children now own this land. We will plant a mango plantation. My children will now manage these lands. They look after me. I'm too old and weak to do anything.
Back in Phnom Penh, after years of violence during the Civil War, life is getting back to normal. But the arguments over property rights threaten to destabilize a country that wanted to look forward to the future with hope and optimism. At Dek Rahon, the arguments between the residents and the construction company are still raging. And with the bulldozer firmly on site, the residents are now too scared to leave their homes.
We are afraid to go away from here. We have to stay at home in case they demolish our houses. They can come back anytime.
Back at his village in the countryside, Nat visits a neighbour to find out how his land claim is progressing.
I'm the victim in all this. I want to know how our complaint about the land dispute is progressing. We need help. It will be tragic if we lose our land. How is our complaint going? We have no good news as yet. We still don't know whether the ministry and the court have allowed our complaint. We don't know how it will be resolved. We just have to keep waiting for news. It's a difficult time for all of
จ
us.
ริงๆค่ะจะเสียงก็ได้ใช่ไหม
It's happening all over Cambodia. Hundreds of thousands of Cambodians like Nat are struggling to keep their land. But what makes it worse is they are having to come to terms with the realization that the peace and prosperity promised by the end of Cambodia's civil war is proving an elusive dream. A complicated situation and a sign that Cambodians cannot yet take a stable future for granted. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.